Why it sucks to be Moses. It's around 1400 BC in Egypt, and congratulations, you're born. But hold the celebration, because your life starts with a death sentence. The Pharaoh, a real piece of work, decides Hebrew babies like you are a threat to his shiny empire. His solution? Toss every Hebrew boy into the Nile River. Yeah, your welcome to the world is a royal order to drown. Your mom, Jochebed, isn't about to let that happen. She hides you for 3 months, probably shushing your cries while sweating bullets every time a soldier passes by. When hiding you gets too risky, she crafts a waterproof basket, think ancient Tupperware, and sets you afloat on the Nile. You're not even old enough to roll over, and you're already a refugee on a river full of crocodiles. Lucky for you, Pharaoh's daughter spots your basket while she's bathing. She pulls you out, names you Moses, which means drawn out, and decides to raise you as her own. Score, right? Except now you're a Hebrew kid living in an Egyptian palace, caught between two worlds. And trust me, that's no fairy tale. Growing up in the palace isn't all gold and glory. Sure, you've got food and a roof, but you're an outsider. You're not fully Egyptian, and the servants probably whisper about it. You learn to read, write, and maybe even fight like an Egyptian prince, but deep down, you know you don't belong. Your real people, the Hebrews, are slaving away outside, building Pharaoh's pyramids under the whip. Every day you see their misery, and it burns you up inside. That's how days pass by, and one day, when you're about 40, you snap. You see an Egyptian guard beating a Hebrew slave, and something in you breaks. You look left, look right, and then, bam, you kill the guard and bury him in the sand. Big mistake. Word spreads faster than a desert wind, and soon Pharaoh wants your head. You're no longer the golden boy, you're a fugitive. So you bolt, leaving behind the palace life for the dusty trails of Midian. Midian is basically Nowhereville, a desert land where you're just another guy with no name. You're tired, thirsty, and probably questioning every life choice. But then you meet Zipporah, a shepherd girl who's tough as nails. You help her water her flock, and her dad, Jethro, takes you in. You marry Zipporah, settle down, and start herding sheep. Yep, you went from palace prince to sheep guy. Your days are now filled with bleeding animals and endless sand. Exciting? Not even close. You're pushing to our old days, thinking this is your life now. Smelly sheep and quiet nights. When a burning bush changes everything. A bush that's on fire but doesn't burn up? Weird. Then God speaks from it, calling your name. He tells you you're the guy to free the Hebrews from Egypt. You're like, me? I'm old, I stutter, and I'm wanted for murder. But God's not having it. He gives you a staff that turns into a snake, some magic tricks with water and leprosy, and a promise. I'll be with you. Great, but you're still not thrilled. Back to Egypt you go, staff in hand, heart pounding. You team up with your brother Aaron, who's better at talking, and confront Pharaoh. Let my people go, you say, feeling like a broken record. Pharaoh laughs in your face. He's not letting his free labor walk away. Instead, he makes the Hebrews' lives worse, forcing them to make bricks without straw. Now your own people hate you, calling you a troublemaker. Awesome start, Moses. But then something strange happened. God stepped in with plagues, 10 of them. You turn the Nile to blood, unleash frogs, lice, flies, and worse. Egypt's crops die, livestock drop, and people get boils. Pharaoh's magicians try to keep up, but they're outclassed. Each plague is a divine punch, but Pharaoh's heart is harder than the pyramids. Even when hail and locusts wreck his land, he won't budge. Finally, God sends the worst plague, the death of every firstborn Egyptian. You tell the Hebrews to mark their doors with lamb's blood, so the angel of death passes over them. It works, but the cries from Egyptian homes that night haunt you. Pharaoh finally cracks. Get out, he screams. You lead 600,000 Hebrews, plus their families and livestock, out of Egypt. Freedom. Except, not quite. Pharaoh changes his mind and chases you with his chariots. You're trapped between his army and the Red Sea. Panic sets in, but God's got your back. You raise your staff, and the sea splits, water walls towering on both sides. Your people cross on dry ground, but when Pharaoh's army follows, the waters crash down, swallowing them. You're free, but you're also shaking. That was too close. You think it's smooth sailing now? Nope. The desert is brutal. Your people are tired, hungry, and whining nonstop. We had better food in Egypt, they cry, forgetting the whips. You strike a rock, and water gushes out. Miracle number 1. God sends manna, bread from heaven, every morning. Miracle number 2. Still, they grumble. You're starting to wonder if leading these folks is worth it. At Mount Sinai, God calls you up for a meeting. He gives you the 10 Commandments, carved on stone tablets, plus a bunch of laws for living right. You're pumped. This is the blueprint for a new nation. But when you come down, your people are dancing around a golden calf, worshiping it like they forgot Egypt overnight. You're so mad you smashed the tablets. God's not happy either. He is also angry at you, but you beg for mercy, and he gives them a second chance. New tablets, new rules, but same old grumbling people. They don't change and commit sins and eventually put you into trouble. For 40 years, you lead these folks through the desert. 40 years, that's a big punishment. You deal with rebellions, like when Korah and his crew try to overthrow you, but God buries them alive. You handle spies who say the promised land is too scary, delaying everything. You even mess up once, striking a rock instead of speaking to it, and God says, "Sorry, Moses, you're not entering the promised land." Ouch. After all this, you don't get to cross the finish line. You're 120, standing on a mountain, looking at the land you'll never enter. Your eyes still see clearly. Your body is strong, but it's time. You die there, and God buries you in secret. No crowd, no statue, just you, the desert, and God. But your story lives on. You freed your people, gave them God's rules, and led them toward the promised land. Jews, Christians, and Muslims all remember you. Some call you a prophet, others a hero, and it all began with a baby in a basket on a river full of crocodiles.